Hi, I am Dr. Global Enigmas, specializing in exploring mysteries around the world, analyzing mysterious phenomena beyond the limits of science, inspiring deep thoughts about the universe and life. Welcome to today's video. Today we are going to discuss
past lives and present existence.
After a person departs from this world, whether they vanish into thin air or exist in another form, for centuries, humanity has continuously questioned this matter. In 1968, a hypnotist named Michael Newton, whose profession involved using hypnosis to alleviate patients' psychological issues, but while treating a patient named Yuna, unexpectedly discovered this patient's past life memories. The patient, under deep hypnosis, vividly described her past life. This left Newton utterly astonished. From that point onward, he began to develop an interest in this peculiar phenomenon. He started utilizing hypnotic techniques to study such occurrences. Through hypnosis of hundreds of patients about their past lives, he discovered that many patients' descriptions were remarkably consistent. After over 20 years of research, he described and categorized this phenomena. In 1994, he published a book titled Journey of Souls. It caused a sensation worldwide, although some people scorned the book. But after many people read it, they could also view life with a more open and positive attitude. Today, let's talk about what Newton discovered about past lives. What kind of world is it, exactly? Why can past lives be seen through hypnosis? This is analogous to three concentric circles representing three levels. The outermost layer represents consciousness, the source of judgment, analysis, and reasoning, also called the ego. The second layer represents the subconscious, also called the ID. This is where hypnosis first arrives, containing all memories of past lives. The innermost layer is the superconscious, also called the superego. This is the overall commander of the ego and id. In the second layer of the subconscious, he subdivided it into many secondary ID. Each self represents a segment of a past life. And the person under hypnosis is neither dreaming nor experiencing an illusion, because people don't dream in chronological order. And illusions are not under controlled conditions. Once in a hypnotic state, Newton uses trigger words to quickly guide the patient into the second layer of the subconscious. In this way, patients can report the scenes they see, the conversations they hear, and even the moods they feel. But many patients, once in this state, won't voluntarily confess everything they see. At this point, Dr. Newton learned a standard method to guide and open the patient's heart. This method is called by Dr. Newton hypnotic regression of past life hypnosis technique. But when the patient wakes up, they don't remember anything about their past lives. At this point, Dr. Newton appropriately injects suggestions into them. Through this treatment method, patients can quickly untie their psychological knots. They gain a clearer direction and purpose in life. In one case, a man in his 60s told Dr. Newton that his throat had been uncomfortable for decades, but the hospital found no problems. This patient, however, always felt discomfort in his throat, even waking up in fear in his dreams. He wanted to try hypnotherapy to address his years of suffering. Dr. Newton used on him traditional relaxation techniques and memory detoxification. However, this did not bring improvement to the patient, so he began to use hypnotic regression. At this point, he discovered that this man in his 60s had a past life as a woman named Sally. In 1866, the team he was with was attacked by Native Americans. A Native American arrow struck Sally's throat at close range, resulting in her death. If a patient's past life ended in violence, Newton was always cautious, because the patient's subconscious still retained memories of that pain, although they couldn't remember anything about their past lives. If there's an inexplicable discomfort in the body or mind, it's possible that the past life ended in violence. Newton asks the patient,
"Can you feel the pain of being shot?"
I feel the blood rushing out. Can't speak. My husband picked me up, but I feel like I'm living. It's so scary.
Newton asks,
Can you describe the feelings afterward?
You feel a force. It pulled me out of my body.
From where?
It pulled me out from the top of my hair.
Newton asks him to describe what I is.
Can you see yourself?
The patient says,
I see myself as a kind of almost transparent white, unswirling around, like a long gallon, turning into a thin line.
How do you feel now?
I feel very free now. But I don't want to die. I haven't planned to leave will. I still want to stay in my body for a while.
At this point, the patient starts to cry and struggles in the chair. Newton asks him to calm down and continues questioning.
What are you doing now?
Will is holding me. I'm trying to comfort him, for what seems not to hear. I try to enter his heart. But I feel like I can't do anything.
Can you still see that line on yourself?
Yes, I can. But I'm resisting this pulling. I want to watch them bury me.
For a spirit who has just left the body, if they find a way to comfort their loved ones, they are usually satisfied, eager to leave this world immediately. But usually, loved ones suffer greatly when they lose them. At this point, the ability for people to communicate with spirits is suppressed, only when loved ones are asleep. Spirits have the opportunity to communicate with them. So if you want to communicate with the spirit of a deceased person, you must relax and firmly believe that this world is full of love. In one of his cases, the patient made the following description. The patient said, the thin line between him and his physical body has disappeared. This indicates that he has entered the next journey. Newton asks her to describe what she sees.
I feel everything around is dark. There's a small halo in the distance. It turns out I'm in a tunnel. I feel a gentle pull, as if something is calling me forward. The halo is getting larger. I pass through the halo. Here is a bright mist. I feel the power of thoughts all around. It's like someone is waiting for me.
Newton asks,
You mentioned passing through a layer of mist. Is that called a rebolvio?
the patient says no. Once the spirit passes through this tunnel, it means accepting the death of its physical body. Some spirits marvel at everything around them, while others calmly describe what they see. This depends on the maturity of the spirit. Newton asks him to continue describing what he sees. The patient says he sees layers of structures like a tower, a circular tower completely wet. And at this moment, he hears an echo, a kind of music. It sounds like the tone produced by a tuning fork, very beautiful and melodious. And when this sound disappears, they will see other beings welcoming them. If a person dies violently at a young age, the spirit in this situation may feel at a loss, and they may mourn for unfinished matters in the earthly life. The first person they see is the guide. The guide, also known as an angel, is a highly mature spiritual guide. They assist the spirit in self-adjustment, gaining inner balance, to adapt to the spiritual world. For example, the guide may show the spirit scenes from their spouses, or husband's, or child's future life. During playback, time is accelerated. This brings comfort to the spirit, allowing them to continue their journey with peace of mind. For most spirits at the exit of the tunnel, what they see is not the guide, but their soulmates. These soulmates can appear in human form. Some of them are the most important people from the spirit's earthly life, usually the most beloved family members who have passed away. Even though some have reincarnated into new lives, they can still appear here. Some spirits who suffered severe harm in their earthly lives, even with the guidance of the guide in the spirit world, cannot accept the fact of their bodily death and separate from the mainstream group. The guide also respects the choices of these spirits. There are two types of such spirits. One cannot accept death, being too sorrowful and resisting the spirit world. The second type engage in harmful behaviors during their earthly lives, such as crimes or moral degradation. The former is based on their own choice. while the latter is arranged by the guide. Isolation is imposed on such spirits, and the duration of isolation is related to their behaviors during their earthly lives. It can last for hundreds or thousands of years. In the spirit world, there is no hell, but for these criminal spirits, isolation serves as a form of punishment. Of course, causing harm to one's own body leading to death is also not allowed and requires isolation. Because all spirits are responsible for their actions in their physical bodies. Both types of spirits can become what we call ghosts. Another type is the troubled spirits, the injured spirits. These spirits have unresolved matters from their earthly lives, so they are unwilling to rejoin the collective. Instead, they stay in specific geographical locations. These locations are usually situated between the earthly and spiritual realm, so they invade people's spirits. And the invaded individuals feel they are under the influence of evil spirits. These spirits are what we call demons. Although the spirit world prohibits such actions, guides usually focus on guiding rather than enforcing. The guide's explanation is that every spirit has free will. In ancient Egypt, there is a collection of poems called the Book of the Dead. It includes a painting depicting a scene of judgment, a death ritual from mythology over 7,000 years ago. The painting shows a man who has just died, standing at a place between the realms of life and death. Standing on the edge of a scale, awaiting judgment for his actions, the chief judge is Anubis, the deity with the head of a leopard and the body of a man. He places the man's heart on the scale, carefully weighing it. On the other side of the scale is an ostrich feather, symbolizing truth. In ancient Egypt, the heart represents conscience. Beside them stands a myth, a monster with the head of a crocodile. If the man's sins in life outweigh the good, a myth will devour his heart, and the man will lose the opportunity to be reborn. Return to the spirit world. The first step is to look back on one's past lives. If a spirit has lived a beneficial life, returning to the spirit world is filled with enthusiasm, and they gain a great sense of satisfaction, because they haven't wasted their previous existence, making their journey to new realms smoother. On the contrary, it can be very disheartening, encountering many obstacles in the spirit world. After returning a spirit, the soul companions who welcome them disperse. First, they are led to a recovery space. Here, each person will see their own guide. And this space is like a field hospital on the battlefield. The spirits leave the battlefield of the human world and come here for healing. In this case, Niven learned about this place through a patient's description. Having learned about this place, the patient described the pillar of light in the middle of the space. And here, it's like a bath. A spiritual bath and purification. The spirits can feel their existence more profoundly, getting closer to their higher selves. Spirits will have their first conversation with guides. And Newton discovered that higher-level spirits at this stage don't need guides. They seem to know what they need to do. However, advanced spirits are very rare, constituting only 1/10 of the population. So advanced spirits are quite exceptional. And it's crucial to ensure that each of their past lives was beneficial. If even one life was not beneficial, they will return to the long path of being a beginner spirit. After the bath, the memories of past lives slowly fade away. However, this doesn't mean that all suffering has been erased. And all memories still exist within the spirit, just temporarily blocked. In the subsequent communication with the guide, it is also the first time for the guide to converse with the spirit. Before this, no matter how the spirit inquired, the guide remained silent. So, the guide speaking indicates that something important is about to happen. At this point, the guide formally introduces the structure of the entire spirit world to the spirit, including what comes next, and getting ready to meet a group of distinguished entities. These entities are similar to the elders of the spirit world. Also a review committee, usually composed of 3 to 7 members. After the communication with the guide ends, the spirit will leave the recovery space. At this point, they will see others who have just arrived in this world, heading to a place called the Central Reception Station together. At this moment, they will see other spirits who have just arrived in this world, going together to a place called the Central Reception Station. At this reception station, spirits can see others who, like them, have just arrived in the spirit world. What they will do next and answers to these questions will be explained in the next episode.
That is all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching this episode. See you in the next time. Bye.